sources of agricultural finance, particularly when we observe the sources of agricultural prices, there are two types. We can say that non-agricultural or non-institutional prices, and another one is institutional sources of credit. Okay, and we also discuss agricultural marketing. What are the measures taken by the government to improve the agricultural marketing system in the state or in the country? What are the agricultural pricing measures we are going to discuss? Generally, as we know that agricultural finance, it is playing an important role for the farmers side, because most of the farmers, they are depending on the agricultural finance. As we know that this finance, that is agricultural finance, the availability of credit, particularly for farmers side, if the agricultural credit is interest rate is very low, then they feel very happy because they are getting agricultural credit with low rate of interest, right? That boost the agricultural farmers to produce agricultural produce more, because if the agricultural credit side interest rate is very high, it is unable to cultivate more because it is burden for the farmers. So that is why if the interest rate is very low, farmers get more credit facility and they can use in the agriculture side and produce more agricultural produce, as we know that. So when we observe the requirement, okay, government, particularly financial institutions, they are providing for credit not only for cropping, but also for some long-term improvement in the land or in the farm of the cultivator. Okay, they are providing loans not only for the cropping purpose, they are also providing for the building of some capital-based long-term improvement in the particularly for labors. Okay, so there are various institutions are there, that institutions are providing financial assistance to the laborers. So when we observe that, as we know, commercial banks which are established in 1969, okay, they are providing assistance to the farmers. Not only the commercial banks, but also regional rural banks which established in October 2, 1975. Okay, so these commercial banks, national regional rural banks, along with these two, NABARD also providing assistance to the farmers. Okay, so these are the major institutions. Okay, NABARD was established in 1982. So when we think about the types of agricultural finance, it is based on the time period and the purpose of the credit. So we can say that there are two types of agricultural finance at the basis of time credit and on the basis of the purpose. So here on the basis of time, we can say that there are three types of credit facilities. Okay, first one is short-term loans. The word itself, it is showing very short period, short term. Particularly for farmers, this amount, that means this credit will help the farmers to purchase the seeds or fertilizers, pesticides, okay, or sometimes fodder for the cattle. Okay, so these short-term loans boost the farmers to purchase fertilizers, seeds, pesticides, feeds for the cattle. Okay. Generally, this short-term term, the period of duration of this short-term loans.
Sir, macroeconomics.
Indian economy, amma. This is Indian economy.
Indian economy.
Yes.
Sir, I got macroeconomics third sem. Sir.
Timing,
3 to 4.
English medium.
Yes, sir.
No. Everybody is related to macro. Anyone can respond. Say, no. This is Indian economy class. Okay. You cross check whether your timings. Which semester
Sir,
you are?
third sem, sir.
Third semester. This is first class for you?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, sir. First class.
No. Anyhow, today we continue with this. Okay. I don't
సార్
know.
అందరిది మ్యాక్రోనే.
Is it macro class?
Yes, sir.
I got notification of this only link. It is there macroeconomics.
Macro. Just wait for 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I'll discuss with. After 2 minutes, you can rejoin.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Is it clear, my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anyhow, we discuss macroeconomics, consumption function. Okay. We discuss here average proposed to consume, that is APC, and marginal proposed to consume. We also discuss along with that the concept of consumption function and linear and non-linear consumption function according to Keynesian psychological law of consumption function. Okay. So here a simple concept, that is consumption function. Generally, as we know that consumption is depending on income, right? So consumption is a function of income, we can say that. Here, when we are defining the consumption function, we have to tell the functional relationship between consumption and gross national income. We call it as consumption function. Okay. Here we have to remember, when you are writing in a equation form, C is equal to a function of alpha plus beta y and x or y. Okay. So what does it mean? There is a functional relationship between consumption and income. So whenever there is an increase in the income, consumption also increase, that you have to remember, but less than the proportion. That is important. What does it mean? If income increases 100 rupees, consumption also increase, but less than that 100. It may be 70, it may be 60, it may be 50. Okay. Another thing, that is alpha. When you are writing an equation, that is alpha. Whether it is possible to take board, I don't know. See. Right. When we are writing equation like, okay, CT is equal to alpha plus beta y. Okay. So here it is a T is the time period and C is the consumption. This consumption is depending on the income y. Okay. Y. This is the income. Whenever there is a increase in the income, consumption also increase, but less than that proportion. Okay, that is clear one side. This alpha, we call it as autonomous consumption, that you have to remember. Okay, alpha A, we call it as autonomous consumption, and beta, this one we call it as slope. Okay, beta is slope, or we call it as coefficient. Okay. So what does it mean? This coefficient, what it express means, if income increases, how much it is influencing on the consumption, this beta clearly shows us. Okay. For example, as I said just now, if your income increases 100 rupees, how much it is influencing on the consumption? Maybe 80 rupees. This beta explains us. This is equation, consumption function equation. We call it as consumption function. This is okay. So what is this alpha? This is, we call it as autonomous consumption. When income, that is y, as I said, is 0, consumption will be positive. Positive side. What does it mean? If you are a student, you are not earning any amount of income, but your consumption is positive. That maybe that amount maybe your parents are giving, whatever it may be. Getting my point? So autonomous, we call it as autonomous consumption. Autonomous consumption means when income is zero, consumption is positive. That also influencing this consumption. Okay, this is all about the consumption function. Okay. Closing this board. Stop sharing. Right. So that equation, it is clear now. So we are talking about the consumption function. There is a functional relationship between total income and total consumption and national income. Okay. Here one word we are keeping the relation between based on the ceteris paribus. Okay. Ceteris paribus means other things remaining constant. Okay. Other things remaining constant. When income increases, consumption also increase, but less than the proportion. Other things means what? It may be other factors are influencing the consumption. For example, wealth. Wealth also influence the consumption. Taste and preferences. If you feel if you want that particular product, automatically you will purchase, right? So automatically you are consuming that, right? So this we call it as ceteris paribus. Other things remaining constant, that you have to remember. So whenever there is an increase in the income level, consumption also, we can say that, positive manner. Okay. I don't know, there are certain graphs are there, but so according to Keynes, okay, according to Keynes psychological law of consumption function, we can say that Keynes, this said, this consumption function is related to only short term. Okay, he consider only for short term, not long term. Long term, another theory is there. Here we are considering only, according to Keynes, consumption is depending on the income and that proportionate to the consume. Okay, it depends on several factors. Okay, that may be price level also influence, interest rate also influence, stock and wealth also influence. Keynes, as I said, particularly for the short-term consumption function. Okay, therefore, it is this consumption is a function of income. Short-run only focused on income and consumption. Okay. Here, when we are talking about the Keynes, the consumption function, a proportionate. That means when income increases, consumption is increasing but less than proportion. Okay. When we are talking about the average or marginal proposed to consume, average proposed to consume and the marginal proposed to consume. Average proposed to consume is defined like the ratio amount of consumption to the total income. It is average of the consumption. That means total income by consumption, you can get the average proposed to consume. Okay. Consumption by income, total consumption by total income, you get average proposed to consume. APC you get. Okay. When we are talking about the marginal proposed to consume, marginal, the word itself, it is showing additional. Okay. Additional is what? Additional consumption. Okay. Here the ratio to the changes in the consumption to the income. If income increases 5 rupees, how much consumption is there? If income again increases 5 rupees to 15 rupees, for example. Okay. Earlier 5 rupees, 5 to 15 rupees, that margin is 10 rupees. 5 to 15, 10 rupees. Due to increasing this 10 rupees, this is additional income. Okay. How much changes in the additional consumption? We call it as marginal propensity to consume. So we can, get this MPC, marginal propensity to consume, changes in consumption divided by changes in the income. Okay. Due to changes in the income, how much changes are there in the consumption? We call it as marginal propensity to consume. The marginal propensity to consume, we can say that, we can define the ratio of the change in consumption due to changes in the income levels. Okay, that we call it as marginal propensity to consume. How can we get this MPC value? How do we get? Through the calculation. Changes in the consumption value divided by changes in the income, then you get marginal propensity to consume. Okay. So when we are talking about the saving function, okay, so saving we can define it is a part of income, as we know that. Okay, particularly with respect to disposable income. Okay, with that disposable income, either we can save or consume. Therefore, why that income, consumption plus savings, that we call it as disposable income. Disposable income is nothing but actual income. Okay, don't confuse. Disposable income means actual income. What is actual income? For example, you are getting bulk amount. Okay, salary. They may reduce taxes. Okay, and deposit to in your account. That actual amount, with that you can spend whatever you want, or you can save whatever you want, right? So y is equal to C plus S. Y is equal to, Y is actual income, that is disposable income. That disposable income includes consumption part as well as saving part. Okay, so here consumption and savings, when we add, that is actual income or disposable income. So saving is a function of income. Saving is depending on the level of income, that you have to remember. So the saving function, as I said, is a part of income. Therefore, we can derive it with respect to saving function according to Keynes saving function. Okay, y is equal to C plus S. Y is a actual income and C is a consumption plus S is the saving. Okay, when we add C and S, that is actual income of the consumer or the person. Okay, so here saving is equal to actual income minus consumption. Saving is equal to Y is a, as I said, actual income or disposable income after paying all the deductions. Okay, whatever it may be. So that actual income minus the consumption. For example, actual income is 1,000 rupees, monthly salary or whatever it may be. Okay, 1,000 rupees. From that 1,700 rupees you are consuming, that is consumption, expenditure. Then remaining 300 is your saving. So saving is equal to Y minus C. Y is actual income, that is 1,000. 1,000 minus C. C is a consumption, 700 as I said. So 1000 minus 700, remaining 300 is going to be saving. Okay, clear, I think, that concept. So here also, average proposed to save and marginal proposed to save. Okay, APC earlier average proposed to consume, and here average proposed to save. That is related to consumption side. This is related to saving side. Okay, so here when we talk about the APS, average proposed to save, the relation between income and saving, it explains the proportion of disposable income that is saved or not or consumed. When we write it in a mathematical form, okay, average proposed to save, that is equal to saving by disposable income. APS is equal to what? S by Y. S by Y. S is a saving by disposable income. Okay. What about the marginal proposed to save? Marginal proposed to save, additional amount of saving. Don't be confused. Whenever there is a increase in the disposable income or actual income, that influence saving also. That is, we call it as marginal. So marginal proposed to save, it is additional disposable that is related to saving. So we can define changes in the saving due to changes in the disposable income. Getting my point? Changes in the saving. Why there is a changes in the saving? Because that leads to changes in the income, that is disposable income, actual income. Actual income lo vachinatuvanti variations. That means it may be increasing 5,000 to 10,000 or 6,000. Okay, due to changes in the disposable income, the here also saving also changes. So MPC, how can we calculate? MPC is equal to changes in the savings by changes in the income levels. You get marginal proposed to save. Here another concept, that is linear and non-linear consumption function. Consumption function may be linear and non-linear. What is linear? Same proportion, it may be less than, but direction is should be same. For example, when you draw line x-axis and y-axis from the point, okay, the direction should be upward. Okay, that upward, another line may be above that line or below that line. That means the trend is upward. Okay, that is related to linear. Okay, as I said, consumption is depending on income. When income increases, consumption also increasing, but less than proportion అని చెప్పిన. What does it mean? If it is increases large amount of income, that in that portion or in that part, small amount of money is going to be consumed, remaining may be savings. That means the direction is going same. If income increases, consumption also increasing. Okay, direction is same, but less than that proportion, that is linear. That opposite of that, non-linear. Okay, so if the marginal purpose to consume is constant, positive or less than average purpose to consume, okay, in this case we can say that average purpose to consume, it always comes down, or we can say that decline. Okay, so we can write C is equal to C0 plus C1Y. As we know that C is a consumption, okay, proportion to consume, and the marginal purpose to consume are when we observe these values, that values are going to be come down. Marginal purpose to consume, that is less than the average purpose to consume. Okay, always MPC is less than the APC when we when we calculate the values. Okay, average purpose to consume. How do we calculate APC? C by Y, as I said, consumption by actual income or disposable income. Okay, C by disposable income, you get APC. Always APC is greater than the MPC. You take any amount of money, okay, disposable income, any, when you are calculating, okay, APC is greater than the MPC. MPC, as I said, marginal purpose to consume. Changes in the consumption by changes in the income, that is related to the marginal purpose to consume. Okay, so that is related to APC, MPC, APS, APC. Okay, that we discussed. So what are the factors determining the consumption? That is important topic. Okay, when we are talking about the determinants, according to Keynes, classified the determinants in two groups. One is subjective factors and another one is objective, that is opposite for the subjective, that is objective factors. Subjective factors, when we are talking about the subjective factors, okay, it includes the endogenous to the economic system, like we can say that psychological factors, nature, okay, social practice, institutions, social arrangements, which influence the, which related to the subjective and that influence the consumption function. Okay, the subjective factors, particularly when we talk about the factors which induce or which influence the people to save some part of their income, as we know that, particularly unforeseen conditions, unexpected conditions. We cannot predict what will happen today or tomorrow. Okay, for that purpose, they are going to be save some amount of money. That we call it as unforeseen conditions. We call it as unforeseen conditions. It may be include illness also, or sometimes accident, or sometimes your job may be removed from any sector. We have to bear these situations. We have to overcome these situations. This also influence the consumption. Okay, so another side, objective factors. Okay, objective factors, when we observe, Keynes, according to Keynes, has categorized or mentioned some factors which influence the consumption function. Changes in the general price level also influence the consumption. We are talking about the determinants of consumption function. Forget about whether it is positive impact or negative impact, but it is influencing on the consumption. That is important. So general price level, what is changes in the general price level? What does it mean? Due to increase in the prices, it is general price level. It is nothing but inflation. Okay, so if there is a increase in the price levels, inflation, if suddenly increases the price 10 rupees to 50 rupees in a short period of time, that is not inflation. Keep on continuing increasing the general price level, then we say that it is inflation. Okay, so if the general price level increases, that means continuous increase in the price level, the consumption function will shift to downward or decline due to the monetary value of money balance or financial assistance. Okay, what does it mean? If the price increases, that prices related to general price level. Okay, people are unable to purchase goods due to increasing the general price and increasing the prices, right? So that is negative impacting on the consumption side. If the price comes down, everybody is ready to purchase, but due to increase in the prices, unable to purchase because their purchasing power maybe they are going to be lose. Getting my point? That is related to the objective factors. Not only that, another important factor, that is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy of the government. When we are talking about the fiscal policy, that is related to the taxes as well as related to the expenditure. Okay, taxation policies may affect the proportionate to the consumption or consume. If the government is imposing more and more taxes on the public, they are going to lose their consumption power because they are paying more money to the government only. They are unable to consume, unable to purchase, right? If the taxes are very low, then automatically their purchasing power will increase. They can consume more. Getting my point? So if they are levying these duties, it may be sales tax, it may be excise duties. Okay, government can cut down the consumption if they are imposing more. Okay, and thereby we can say that increasing saving of the community. They are unable to purchase, but they can keep that amount. That means it is increasing their savings directly or indirectly with the help of fiscal policy through the imposing of taxes. That effect is positive on saving of the community. That you have to remember. If the government reduces the tax, consumption of the people automatically increase, and the rises in the proportionate to the consumption level. Okay, that is related to the fiscal policy. Okay, and Keynes psychological law of consumption. It is depending on certain assumptions. This consumption, particularly this marginal propose to consume, MPC is between 0 and 1. Between 0 and 1. The range, we can say that. Okay. So marginal propose to consume is less than 1 and greater than 0. Between 0 and 1. This Keynes psychological law, it is based on certain assumptions. As I said, this law, psychological law, based on the income, taste and preferences, habits, social customs, price movements, population growth. This all influence the consumption, right? But according to Keynes, as I said one word, ceteris paribus, these things remaining constant. These things remaining constant. These things means taste and preferences, income distribution, habit, social customs. If there is a festival, everybody wants to consume. That festival is influencing the consumption. Everybody purchase garments or etc. Right? So that is influencing. price movements also. If once price comes down, everybody wants to purchase, right? That is also influencing. Population, if more population is there, the goods also at the same time demand for goods increases, right? So these things are remaining constant according to Keynes. Okay, and also normal conditions in the economy, it should be normal conditions. In the case of abnormal circumstances, okay, there may be war effect, there may be revolution, or that may be higher inflation. Okay, inflation also one of the bad situation for the economy. Okay, so that is should not be there. Everything should be normal. That means there is should not be a war, any revolution. Okay, strikes sometimes. That also, if bus strikes are there, that is influencing the economy, right? So that situations and inflation and land order. Okay, this okay, this situation should be normal condition. Otherwise, that there is a problematic. Okay, and also laissez-faire capitalist economy. He assumes existing the laissez-faire of the capitalist economy. This law is inappropriate in socialist or state-controlled and regulated economies. Laissez-faire means free trade. There should not be any restrictions between the boundaries. For example, laissez-faire we are talking about. If one country exporting to another country, at the same time importing the goods to another country, there should not be a restrictions. Okay, this is we are assuming. This also laissez-faire in the capitalist economy. So this law, proportions of the law, particularly when income increases, as I said, consumption and expenditure also increase, but smaller amount or less than that increase in the income. This is very important concept. Consumption function, determinants of consumption for your exam point of view also. So increase in the income divided into some portions between consumption and saving due to the fact that unseen conditions, right? It may be accident, right? So this is also. So increase in income always leads to increase both income and savings of the economy. That you have to remember. Yeah. Another important topic, theories of investment and interest rate. Theories of interest rate and investment. Here we are going to discuss types of investment, gross and net, private and public, financial and rural, real investment, autonomous investment, induced investment. What are the determinants? What is investment function? What is MEC? Marginal efficiency of capital. Okay, we are going to discuss. So here the meaning of investment. Capital is different, investment is different. See these two words. Capital is a form of it may be, we can say that, stock variable. Okay, capital is the stock variable, investment is a flow variable, moving. This is okay, investment, but capital is stock variable. It may be machinery, it may be building, it may be technology, that is fixed. that is related to capital. But investment, it is flow variable. Okay. So kids, investment refers to the new addition to the stock of capital or physical capital, such as plants, machinery, trucks. Okay, these are related to the again stock variable. So public work like dams, roads, buildings. Okay, it creates some income and it creates some employment opportunities. Right? So the real investment means the addition of stock of physical capital. ఉన్నటువంటి capital కి additional గా యాడ్ చేయడం. If the firm using technology, okay, while using that technology, tear and wear will be there. Okay, so if they add additional new technology to that, we call it as stock of physical capital. Okay, so ikkada you have to remember the investment is a flow variable, capital is a stock variable, that you have to remember. When we are talking about the investment, types of investment, gross investment and net investment. Gross investment and net investment. Gross, the word it is itself, it is showing total amount of money that is spent on new capital assets. Okay, when we are writing in a symbolically, okay, investment is G related to gross investment, I is related to investment. Okay, net investment plus R, that is replacement investment or depreciation. We have to add tear and wear amount also, that we call it as depreciation. Okay, that should include in the gross investment. Net investment, we can deduct it, that depreciation of the technology which we used in the, okay, that we are deducting. But when we are talking about gross, we are going to be add in gross investment, where what we are adding, the replacement investment, that is nothing but depreciation, that is nothing but tear and wear value we are going to add in gross investment. Okay, that is clear. Then what is net investment? Net investment, gross investment minus depreciation. In gross investment, we are adding depreciation value. In net investment value, in net investment, we are deducting from the gross investment, we are deducting the depreciation. Okay, మనము depreciation తీసేస్తున్నాం ఇక్కడ. So net investment is equal to gross investment minus replacement investment or depreciation. Okay, if the gross investment equal to depreciation, then we can say that net investment is zero, because we are deducting that depreciation value, then automatically it should be zero, right? You have to remember gross investment and net investment. Types of investment, this is very important topic for exam point of view. Okay, and private investment. Private investment is nothing but non-governmental institutions investment or individuals investment, we can say that. Like agencies also, these are, we call it as private investment. Whereas public investment, that is nothing but government investment. Okay, so private investment is highly volatile. Volatile means fluctuate. It may be huge amount, it may be very small amount. It depends upon the profit of that particular industry or firm. Okay, if they are getting more profit, more revenue, then the huge amount they are going to be invest, that is related to private. Okay, the value of investment, particularly in private enterprises, it is depending on the two factors: MEC, marginal efficiency of capital, and rate of interest. See, this is two important points. Rate of interest. If rate of interest is high, what about the investment? If rate of interest is very high, people are ready to invest more or they are going to be reduced. You have to think. There is a inverse relationship between interest rate and investment. If interest rate is very high, investment comes down. Why? Because people think that if they going to be save in a bank, we are talking interest rate is related to bank rate. Okay, if bank interest rate is very high, they are if they invest in that amount, they may get loss, they may get profit. Okay, we cannot predict while starting time, right? So people think that when interest rate is high, if that bulk amount, if they save in the bank, they get a huge amount because interest rate is very high without any risk, right? Without any risk, they are going to get more money, more interest rate. Bulk amount they are going to get at a certain time period. So they don't want to invest more money. So they prefer to save in the bank. That is related to the interest rate. So here, another investment, that is financial investment, real investment also there. Next class we continue with types of investment function, what are the factors that determining what is MEC. Okay, we discuss it about that. So far, is it clear, my class?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. End of
Sir,
the
give some important. Sir.
next class I'll give you important questions. Okay, next class I'll give you.
Thank you, sir.